Okay, I've got some friends staying over and they're plugging their motorhome into the EcoFlow Delta Pro for tonight and tomorrow. So I wanted to make a video and show a realistic view of what the EcoFlow can power and how long it can power it for an RV. So I'm plugging them in right now to the shop. Okay. We'll go see what the draw is. I had my fan running, so I'm going to turn that off. And now the lights are on. I'll turn those off. So they're pulling 300, over 300 watts, but let's turn these lights off. Okay, so they're pulling 200, right at around 200 watts. They were just using their slide outs, and so that was run off their battery. So now we're probably running their battery chargers right now. They may have a few lights on inside there, but at this time of the day, so it's Wednesday, it's about 7:30 in the evening, and there's no more sun hitting the solar panels. You can see the solar input there is 0. We're at 100% charge. So tomorrow we're going to do some experimentation with the microwave and some the air conditioner, some different things like that. But for tonight, they are leaving the hot water heater on propane and the refrigerator on propane, and really should be just using some lights and maybe a microwave a little bit. So we'll keep you informed. So it's almost 8 o'clock p.m. Wednesday, and the RV has been on the Delta Pro now for about a half an hour, and you can see in the graph down below there was a big surge here in power. He's drawing 156 watts right now. He's got a couple fans on and some lights on out there, but it surged up to 1800 watts. So I went out and asked him what he was doing. He said he was running the microwave. So it was a short span there of a big surge of 1800 watts. He must have a powerful microwave. But yeah, we're down to 92%. According to this, he's got almost 11 hours remaining on the battery if he continues to draw this amount. So we'll see what happens. Okay, it's 10 o'clock at night, and the RV has been plugged in now for 3 hours or so, and it looks like they had a little bit of a surge there, power, but down to 30 watts. And we've got, let's see, 78% battery left. Let's see what it looks like in the morning. It's about 5:30 in the morning. The RV has been pulling about 40 watts all night long, so I don't know if they have a fan on or if that's, you know, some other draw, but it's been constant at around 40 watts all night. So we're at 50% battery. Sun will be coming up soon, so we'll see where we are when the sun comes up and how the Delta Pro does. So it's 6:39 a.m. and the RV's draw is still around 40 watts. And we have plenty of sun outside, and there's no solar input as of yet. The sun's been up for quite a while, but it's because my panels are in the shade this time of the year. The sun comes up much more in the north. So in the winter, the sun comes up over here, and my panels get sunlight immediately. But in the summer, I have to wait for the sun to come up. And hit the panels. So right now we're at 45% battery capacity. We'll see what time the sun actually hits the panels and starts charging the Delta Pro. It's almost 10 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning now, and the solar has finally gotten up and hitting the panels enough to bring in 435 watts, and the RV is only using 83 watts right now. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, the panels started producing 60 watts. What happened? And the draw was still 40. I lost connection. And at 9 o'clock, the panels were producing 120 watts. And now at almost 10 o'clock, we're over 400 watts. So it's looking like a pretty good solar day. We'll see how fast it charges and what their usage is like today. It's 11 a.m. now, and the RV's been plugged in all night long, and we're getting 700, you can see this, 700 watts input from the solar. Yeah, pretty good sun here. Some high clouds, but not bad. I'm going to talk to my friend and ask him what he had running throughout the night. But we're up to, I don't remember, 58% battery now or so. It's 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, and the EcoFlow is fully charged again. We had some sun today and some cloud, but it's fully charged up. And currently the RV is drawing 140 watts, but the solar is keeping up with it easily. 156 and watts coming in and 100% charge. So we're coming up on 24 hours, and for everything that they've needed it for, the EcoFlow has supplied all those needs, and the solar panels have charged it up. So far, no problems at all. 7:15 p.m. Thursday, and my friends have been in the RV now for almost 24 hours, and the sun is not really powering much of the solar panels anymore. We are getting 149 watts still. Their RV is using 141 right now, and we're at 99.9% charge. Okay, it's almost 7:30. And so my friends have been in their RV now for basically 24 hours. And Delta Pro did charge up to 100% today while they were using it. Now their output is down to 39 watts. And the solar input is down to 72 watts. They were using on a consistent basis earlier about 150 watts. They've got a couple fans going on the inside just to vent out warm air. So we'll see how that progresses. Okay, it's 7:50 p.m. and we tracked down the source of this 40-watt draw. We have everything off inside the RV right now, and we figured out that when we turn the breaker off or the switch off to the converter that converts AC power to DC that charges the batteries, then our draw goes away. So we're gonna leave that converter off all night long, and any power that they use tonight will be off of their DC, it will be off of their onboard battery, and any AC that they use will be off the Delta Pro, because the Delta Pro is still connected. So we'll see how this works. Good morning. It's Friday morning now, about 9:30 or so, and RV had disconnected its converter to convert AC to convert AC to DC, and so it did not put a draw on the EcoFlow Delta Pro last night, and to conserve as much of the Delta Pro as possible. But it was running inside. They were running a CPAP machine that was drawing 16 to 20 watts of AC power. So everything in the RV that was running off AC power was running off of the Delta Pro, which was only the CPAP, and everything that was running off of DC was running off its own onboard RV battery. And so that was only a few lights last night, and I think they had a small ventilation fan this morning. And so when we checked the level of the RV's batteries this morning, it was at 3/4 level. It was fully charged last night and before they went to bed, and then now it's at 3/4. And you can see the level of the EcoFlow is at 3/4 as well. So we think that we saved a lot of power because the converter in the RV was drawing consistently 40 to 45 watts. And so we eliminated that draw from the whole system and saved a lot of battery power. And that was the whole purpose of doing this experiment based on what we learned the previous night. So we consider that a success. Now what we're going to do is turn the converter back on in the RV, and what'll happen is the Delta Pro here will try to charge the battery, or it will charge the battery. The converter will come on in the RV. The AC from the Delta Pro will charge that battery, and so we'll see a surge of watts coming out of the Delta Pro here. And since it's earlier in the morning, we're only getting 200 watts of solar input, so it won't be enough really to power that battery charger for the RV. So it'll still use battery power from this, but then as the day goes on, the solar power will increase, and it should equalize everything out. Charge that battery to 100%, charge this battery to 100%, and everything will be fine. So we'll go turn that converter on, and we'll see what kind of power draw there is off of the Delta Pro. Okay, I've told him to turn the converter on, so we'll see what kind of surge. There we go. 700 650, 600, 550, 500. So now his battery in the RV is charging. We're only getting 133 watts input from the solar. So we're down below 400 watts draw on the battery chargers in the RV. So I'm doing this for all you RV people out there who are considering the Delta Pro for use like this. If you had solar panels on your roof, or if you had a external way to charge the Delta Pro and you wanted to use it at night, and one of the reasons why my friend here is looking at getting a Delta Pro for his RV is because when it is colder, he doesn't want to start the generator, the gas-powered generator, in the middle of the night to run his furnace, because his furnace blower will run down the battery in the RV pretty quickly. And so he wants a silent alternative to provide power, especially at night. And he says, or in places where he doesn't want to run the generator even during the day. So this is looking good. We're at 300 watts now, draw. Okay, we're going to turn the AC on in the RV. We're at output 107. Okay, just turned on. $1,000 watts. So yeah, we've got the AC on in there, and we were pulling what, 100 and some watts, and now 1,027. So AC is pulling about 900 watts. It says the Delta Pro will run that for an hour and 46 minutes, but there's not much sun right now, and the solar panels are only pulling in 175 watts. His batteries are completely charged. We started charging those about an hour and a half ago, and so the Delta Pro charged up from 72% at the time, 73 up to 77 now, in addition to charging his batteries and charging itself. Alright, now we've turned the AC off. We're going to turn the electric hot water heater on. Yeah, 1,462, but we were already drawing 100. So the hot water heater is pulling about 1,360. And at this charge, it will run the hot water heater. If the hot water heater was going to stay on constantly, it would run it for 1 hour and 9 minutes. But again, there's not much sun input. Okay, now we're going to turn on the gray and black tank heaters and see how much power they draw. Yeah, not much. It's only 36 watts. Are both heaters on? Yeah, that's both heaters, the gray and black tank heaters. So they don't really draw much at all. Okay, maybe turn those off now. Yeah, back down to 100 watts.
And it was up to what?
Okay, it's Friday afternoon, and the RV is now disconnected from the Delta Pro here. I'm just running my lights in here, 167 watts. My solar input is just under 300 watts, and I'm at 100% charge. So we learned several things. From Wednesday to Thursday, the RV was running off of this Delta Pro with the solar panels connected, and it ran the RV without any problems. It would have run the RV day after day after day, and it was even cloudy without any problems. Even today was pretty cloudy, and the system was up to 100% charge by about 1 in the afternoon. So today we did some different experiments. We went out and we started the AC, we ran the slide outs, we ran the microwave, we ran the converter, we ran the tank heaters, the gray and black tank heaters that prevent them from freezing in cold weather. And we looked at all the wattages of each of them. So the wattages I have here: refrigerator 300 watts. Now the refrigerator is a electric / propane, and the way it works is the propane heats up the refrigerant and causes it to evaporate, and thus starts the whole heat exchange process. And so the refrigerator is actually taking a lot more watts than a normal refrigerator would use with a compressor. This doesn't have a compressor. So it's running a heating element when it's plugged into the AC. So 300 watts for the refrigerator for a medium-sized RV refrigerator, that's a lot of power for AC. My home refrigerator only takes 100 watts, and I've seen other people's refrigerators on YouTube videos pulling only 50 watts. So if you're going to run your refrigerator with the Delta Pro or any generator, I would suggest using propane, because 300 watts is a big draw for this. So the AC, it's no surprise there, 900 to 1,000 watts. So that's going to be something that you would only run for short periods of time, maybe an hour or two during the hottest part of the day, and especially if you have the good sun on your solar panels. And then the slide out was minimal at 50 to 75 watts. Of course, you're only using the slide out for 30 seconds at a time. The microwave was a pretty powerful one at 1,650 watts. So that was a little surprising. I figured it'd be 1,000 watts. And then we discovered that there was a continuous draw all night long, even when there was nothing on. And so we traced that to the converter that converts the AC power to DC power to keep the batteries charged, to keep them topped off. So when we disconnected the converter, that 40 watt draw went away and everything else still worked. So this RV owner, a friend of mine, he's considering buying a Delta Pro. Matter of fact, he decided to go ahead and buy one based on all of these tests that we ran. He said that when he does run it at night, that he's going to turn that converter off, because you just don't need it. And especially at night when you're not running lights, you're not running anything else. So, but when the converter is off, then all of the DC powered lights and anything else that's run on DC, water pump and your slide outs and things, they would be running off of the onboard. My lights are turning off here. I gotta, do the motion thing. That means this video is over 3 minutes so far. So he would be running all of those things off the onboard RV battery. So when he did that, we also ran the RV overnight with no converter on. And in the morning, he used some lights and a fan, ceiling fan, before he turned the converter back on, and his onboard battery was only down by 1/4, and the Delta Pro was down by only 1/4. Instead of the previous night was down to 42%. With this configuration, the Delta Pro was only down 75%, to 75% charge. It had a 75% charge in the morning. And then we turned on the gray and black tank heaters, thinking that they were going to draw quite a bit, because heaters usually do, but they didn't, 35 watts. So what we learned was, if you're going to be using the Delta Pro for an RV, you can use it continuously for everything that you need if you have sufficient solar panels. I mean, that's a no-brainer. If you didn't have the solar panels and was just going to charge it either with a generator by day, when you can tolerate the noise of a generator, or in his case, he travels a lot, puts a lot of hours in per day, he would be connecting it to the charging system on his RV and just charge it as he drives. Then it is sufficient for overnight use, depending on how you configure it. But if he were to run the furnace blower, a propane furnace with a blower, we've determined that it would run that without any problems. So this is by no means a comprehensive test or video, but hopefully there's some things that you learned. He learned a lot about the draws of the different appliances and what the Delta Pro can do. So hopefully you can glean something off of this. If you're an RV person or considering this for a similar situation, then I hope this was helpful. As always, you can ask questions in the comments, and I'll answer them as best I can. Thanks for watching.